everyone, and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name's Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform, and today I've got with me
Phil Whitby, a developer at SwiftCase.
And Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
Great. So today we're going to be talking about past predictions for the future and whether they have come true in the same way as we expected them to, or what's happened to the past predictions now that we actually are seeing them live, if you like. So this kind of started off around the idea of, we were discussing how video calling, which was meant to be the big, the big change, the big shift on how we'd all view things. Remember Back to the Future with the big screens and so
Aliens,
on. Everyone,
all Blade Runner. It was they all had the payphone has been replaced by video call. Ripley, the character, gets a video call in the middle of the night and answers it, and they're like, well, wait a minute, but there's something wrong here. And it was almost like there's, in those predictions from the past, it's almost like the technology overcomes, or the greatness of the technology just overcomes any kind of
the practicality.
You don't want
societal norms.
It's like, just look at me naked in bed.
I mean, the amazing thing was, it's always in a place, isn't it? It's always in a building where they've got like these phones where you can do the bit.
You're limited geographically.
It's not in your pocket like it is now.
They didn't get the mobile phone part of it, did they? The fact that phones would have cameras on them.
And the fact that we don't find it amazing is we just go, oh. It's like, we can do a video call.
It was, to be fair, it was big. When it first came out, I don't know, was FaceTime first or were there others?
It wasn't first, Skype was first.
Skype was first, but Skype never really kind of took off, did it? As
the thing with Skype as well is
personal thing.
Speaking on a webcam, that was more like what you're talking about, to be fair, because you're kind of stuck with a computer or a laptop. Whereas I think
FaceTime took it mobile.
I associate FaceTime with the pioneer. It probably wasn't because no an Apple, but it's the one we all know about.
It's the mass distributed version of it, isn't it? Basically, which is always what it is.
And what actually happened really is it became a way of people who didn't live near to their grandparents to see their grandkids. And that was really, I think that's the only time it's used, apart from if you go on holiday.
Oh yeah, of course.
You do your panoramic view of look where I am.
Look how pixelated the sea is.
I tell you what though, one thing I would say is I've noticed as someone who frequents public transport in Liverpool, kids seem to use it a lot.
Really?
Just to talk to their mates.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, I think maybe this is a generational thing. Where,
are you saying I'm old, Craig?
Well, we're all old now, Phil. Kids are used to.
They grew up with it.
To cameras now. So it's not that weird for them to do it. I still find it a little bit odd. Like the idea of pulling my phone out, and I really find it odd as well when people have got wireless earphones and they're just talking, because it does look like you're talking to yourself, but it's not that strange anymore.
So perhaps we're wrong, and perhaps video calling has taken off.
No, but one thing I completely agree with is it hasn't supplanted phone calls in a sense where, if we're gonna.
You don't have a quick video call, do you?
No.
But and also
it's also tiresome.
It's
tiring.
Well, it takes too much of your too many of your senses up, doesn't it? Because often you're on a phone, you're doing something else as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
especially in work.
Definitely, but I mean, if I'm having a phone call with my wife or any of my friends over the years, it wasn't offensive for me to be doing something else, like putting dishes away while I'm talking to them. I can still have quite a animated and like intense discussion whilst doing something else.
It commands more of an attention.
It helps me to be distracted as well.
So that's why it hasn't supplanted it, because I think you might not want someone to see her as well. Like, just say your hair's a mess or you've got a massive spot or something like that. You might not want people to see that. The other thing, I suppose, is text messaging as well. Like that's kind of. I don't know whether it was ever really explored years ago, but it's another method, isn't it, that people are communicating.
It's like a backward step, wasn't it? It's like you can talk. Why would you want to type to each other? That's almost like sending.
They didn't monetize it at first.
No,
it was free as part of it.
That's like doing what you call it, Morse code messages.
It was literally that hard because you had to type through, didn't you? Yeah,
they're going, well, no, you've got phones. Why would you want to send text? And yet that's taken off more than anything else.
Actually, it's a bit like the. Why shopping as an experience has diminished, because people don't want to literally interface with a person when they're buying something. You don't always want to interface directly with a person when you're communicating either.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't always want to have to answer them then and there.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so many advantages to SMS and email.
Yeah.
Over talking. And I think it underestimates, like, especially in a field like film where most people are extroverts, maybe they wouldn't even consider that people would be
not want to
inherently
be
seen. Inherently anxious about having to be enforced to communicate.
Yeah.
I mean, I know plenty of adults that literally hate using the phone.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, I don't want to ring, I don't want a phone. And like, especially as a teacher, I overcame that massively because I was calling parents and it was just necessary. But I saw other people like doing everything they could to avoid.
Yeah,
having to make
you find that in business, don't you? You asked a staff member, have you spoken to such and such at a company? Like, I sent them an email last week. It's like, no, just ring them now and get the answer now. you know, we want to move things on. You need to, and phone calls do disrupt someone's day, don't they? So text messaging, and it can be a more polite and conscientious.
They all have these equally important usages, I think, and it's like predicting the future. You think that something's going to supersede something else. That's the key thing. Predictions of the future are always like, we won't do this. This will be available. Yeah. So it always neglects the overlap and of all these technologies. Someone's still going to be driving around a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
In 20 years.
Yeah.
No, they're not, Phil. They're going to be driving flying cars.
Flying cars. Yeah, flying cars. That's another one, isn't it?
That's another classic. Which I mean, if you just think about it logically, it's just not feasible, is it? Like, what's the point?
Well, flying car is just a small plane. They did exist, or a helicopter, isn't it?
And they're so dangerous. And we just neglect to realise that in the future, or maybe that's the thing as well, in the future, people assume that people will be smarter and more capable.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're getting stupider and less capable.
People can't drive in 2 dimensions. You don't want to give them a third, do you?
Have you noticed they all look the same though? They've all got that little dome, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like Jetsons.
Yeah. Like we'll magically invent a glass that's unbreakable.
Yeah.
Like under any kind of pressure. Or...
You press a button and it goes like that, and you just get out. We were talking about it last week. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer designs the dream car, and that to me is like we'll put a picture on the video. That is like the perfect example of what people thought cars would look like in the future. But they're all that horrible dome and like
loads of gadgets everywhere. Like a little arm that'll come out and give you a cigarette.
Yeah, the back of it looks like a plane. It's just ludicrous, isn't it? Yeah. It's never going to have driverless cars. Now they're the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically.
Yeah, and that's an amazing technological achievement that again people can't even comprehend. How. And I sent you that video on Twitter of the car basically driving its way all the way to work, and the guy just sitting there with his hands like this. Yeah. And what was interesting about it is he didn't go whoa and leap to kind of take control at any point. It just all happened quite smoothly.
But that's going to be the change, isn't it? The change is in the trust of the machine, and that's what you've got to overcome in any technology, isn't it? For people to trust.
Really high.
Yeah.
But if someone said, "Hey, there's a flying car outside," oh, let's have a go. Like they don't go, "Oh, I'll be a bit scared." But straight away they'd be like, "Oh, I'll have a go at that." Especially most men, wouldn't they?
I think most people have a go at technology, wouldn't they? But I think the reality of the flying car.
The reality of it as well is that it would require an incredible amount of skill. To pilot it, more than likely, not just a case
of to be a pilot.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was reading about they've made a hoverboard. But they were saying like it's only like one person that can actually use it at the minute because they're so trained on doing it, and it requires so much skill and physical sort of prowess to actually use it. It's not as simple as just hopping on and going woo.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wonder whether people just imagine that technology would take over anyway, like it has with the driving car, and that maybe the next step is flying cars that have an evolved version of software for.
Realistic.
A driverless flying car is a more that's a more realistic concept than someone driving. Piloting a flying car.
Because planes themselves are mostly autopilot.
Exactly.
Almost except for like intervention that's required, isn't it? Just like with the driverless cars.
So I suppose it's not as far off as you maybe think, but the reality of how do you go from having a road that's effectively your air traffic control to controlling hundreds of thousands of flying cars over it, and thinking that that's realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
and also time saving. It wouldn't really. Yeah.
It doesn't save anything unless you're the only person with a flying car.
Yeah, that's it.
That's going above everyone else who hasn't got one. Or if you live in the city of the Jetsons, where there's multiple,
there's like
skyscrapers where you can park at the top.
Yeah.
Because there's 1,000 floors of this building.
Yeah. So what else is there? So we got the driverless, the flying cars.
So we've got risk communicators. That was another one we discussed. I
mean, I suppose in some respects, maybe Apple have tried to do this. But the Apple Watch is kind of that, isn't it? But there's not really any need of it because we've all got phones.
Yeah. Well, the phone's like a tricorder in Star Trek, aren't they? Yeah. They effectively can do all the things that a tricorder does. I think with the heart monitoring thing or the echocardiogram, what is it? No, it's not an echo. It's a anyway, it monitors your heart, and that's putting it up to that level of Star Trek where they would monitor you and
exactly,
and like your phone gives you like a geolocation, tells you everything about your movements. It's a memory vault for photos, things like that. It's actually more advanced probably than the predicted tricorder or magic device was. They were mostly sort of single use, like the tricorder just told you something about the environment. It wasn't like also
it wasn't a computer in your pocket.
Exactly. They had communicators to the they had like cloud based software didn't they? In the enterprise it was just one giant server, but this is a unifying device of amazing technology, far greater than most of the predictions, but still like, where's my flying car?
I suppose in some respects there's some technology. See, I feel like the Apple Watch is kind of trying to be that. I understand the benefits of like monitoring like the heart rate and things like that, but I still think it's trying to be what we thought the future was going to be in the past. And probably the prime example of that to me was the Google glasses as well. It's like that Star Trek style, you put this visor on
why did they fail?
And you can see everything there. I just think it's pointless. But I think, in fact, no, it's not pointless. I think there's an application for it. And I especially think there's applications for stuff like that when it comes to accessibility for people with disabilities and things like that. Definitely. And I think that's the future. To solve.
So Stephen Hawking potentially could have communicated by moving his eyes instead of.
Exactly. That's futuristic, isn't it? That's amazing.
I just think people didn't want to look like wearing stupid glasses.
You'd look absolutely. You look absolutely.
Because I can see the benefit of the augmented reality. I think if it worked and we had universal signal, like you could go up mountains and you could see the map in front of you, like geographically, it could point you in the path by just wearing the glasses.
You could go on experiences that you would never get.
Or it would a guide or something.
It would normally cost you a fortune. You might not be able to actually do it physically. But to experience that or like an emulation of it, fantastic.
If you went up in the mountains and you had the guide and you could bring up information about which. Or you can see the weather forecast and things like that without getting your phone out and there's no signal. I'd see the benefits. Or if you've ever tried navigating around a city using your phone and you're trying to look up and do the roads and like at the same time walking, that would have been great for things like that.
Driving maybe as well, actually, because I suppose one of the big issues with driving is getting distracted by the phone, but if that's your kind of sat nav /
and it's all kind of overlaid in one kind of
then
view,
it solves
then
all the
it kind of
problems.
I could see the augmented reality taking off. The photography was a bit pointless because you don't really go around going, I want to take a photo of that, unless that was part of the reason it did fail, because people were effectively being creeps.
That's it. So there's a negative stigma with potentially being seen as a creep.
It isn't. I suppose that the Google Glass thing that was very similar to one you brought up, Phil. The idea of having this like all-in-one display that comes up, like the big screens that you.
That's one of my biggest pet hates in cinema. They're the Minority Report thing. It's like people go, oh yeah, wow, look at that. The amount of training required to manage that interface. How tired your arms would be after using it for 20 minutes. How would anyone do a job? How could anyone, like a developer or in a call center even, or manage a device like that without being like super fit. Really
it's all trained. Style, isn't it? And no actual substance in terms
it all makes sense.
Usability and anything. It's designed to make someone look like a tech genius or to make it look futuristic. And I think they've kind of emulated that as well with the virtual reality experiences. And I know there's some like games and things like that and kind of apps that you can get, and a lot of them do still use that, like swipe your the browser and things like that. But do you really need to do that?
No. But also, like say, it might just be for a momentary thing. But as a work station, as it was kind of sold in Minority Report, it's ludicrous. It's like tiny micro movements. So you can do that all day.
Well, that's what we kind of do, don't we? We move windows around by using a small mouse or trackpad. We don't like throw our arms around and like expend all that energy to just go like a small clip.
Maybe we should. Maybe we'd get fit.
Maybe that's the option.
That's why everyone looks like Arnie in the picture.
That's it.
Okay, so if there's any past predictions of current or future technologies that you want us to know about or you want to discuss, drop them in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell, and we'll hear more about our amazing analysis of the past and the future.
And hopefully in your future you'll be visiting our fantastic futuristic website swiftcase.co.uk. Don't forget to follow us on social media via heads up on screen display, or you're in your flying car at SwiftCase UK.
Okay, thanks everyone for listening to SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. I'll see you again next time.